So we are now live for half number 2 for the Stony Brook football team as they play their second game of the season against the Delaware Blue Hens and currently trailing at halftime 17-3. Thank you for coming in to listen, ladies and gentlemen. Zachary Wilson along with Momodou Sise giving you Stony Brook football action on YouTube for WSB Sports. And Mo, you and I saw the first half, and it was pretty much a problem for Stony Brook against the Delaware team that was coming off of a shutout win to begin the season against Maine. So what do you think Stony Brook had their problems with during the first half?
Well, Stony Brook is just having trouble moving the ball offensively. Like, they're getting to the red zone and can't convert on red zone opportunities. Takel got injured late in the second quarter. Josh Zimmer comes in, brings his team to the red zone, but still fails to complete a touch. Like, Stony Brook is not able to score touchdowns against Delaware, and that's what they needed to do if they was going to have a chance in this game against Delaware.
Yeah, and currently trailing 17-3 at halftime. You know that the offense really needs to get back into the rhythm. As you said, Fields was having that problem, but in that last drive before the turnover on downs, that other quarterback, Joshua Zamot, seemed like he was being able to make some strides with players such as Khalil Newton and Tyson Lawton. Of course, Tyson Lawton and Malik Love, who didn't play for Stony Brook last week due to an injury, are back and healthy to play their first game of the season. And how do you think that they're going to try and show themselves to be the playmakers for Stony Brook throughout the rest of the season?
Well, for Stony Brook, if they want to continue to win games for the spring season, they need to get these transfer receivers involved, like Khalil Newton, Malik Love, and their tight end, Tyler DeVera. Because right now, Stony Brook is just not playing simple offense. They keep trying to do too much on the offensive side of the football instead of, like, playing possession, giving carries to Tyson Lawton, and continue to play possession against Delaware, because you don't want Delaware to come out strong with strong possession going out in the second half.
Yeah, and after what Delaware did against Maine last week, you know that it's what Stony Brook needs to be aware of as far as understanding the type of trouble with their special teams. Stony Brook hasn't really always looked completely 100% with their special teams over the last few seasons, but so far in this game, they have been able to put up some punts that hasn't allowed the special teams for Delaware to try and make a big run. I mean, there were some opportunities. That first drive for Delaware started at midfield after their first drive for Stony Brook offensively was stalled.
Repeat that, Zach?
Yeah, so it's like I said, Stony Brook has done somewhat of a good job so far today with their special teams not allowing any big runs or holes for Delaware after DeJohn Lee had that season-opening touchdown, that walk-in touchdown last week against Maine. So for Stony Brook, special teams have helped, but we know that defense can get there sometimes, but they've allowed wide-open plays for Delaware so far in the first half.
Yes. For some reason, Delaware has been continuing to get good rushing yards and running the football, and they're allowing Delaware to get into good field possession, which if you're Stony Brook, you wouldn't want to allow that, because knowing Delaware, a run-first team, able to run the football, and you're putting them into having good field possession, is not going to look good for Stony Brook.
Yeah, Stony Brook really needs to be careful, because in that first half, they had 9 penalties that accounted for 80 yards. It really helped Delaware. Stony Brook had a big chance to go down the field and get a touchdown themselves, but those penalties limited them to just a field goal, which was pretty helpful for Angelo Guglielmo since he didn't get a field goal last week. He missed a 4-yarder against Villanova, but he was able to get one, a chip shot from 28 yards out that accounted for his first ever field goal in collegiate play. He's a rookie, so you know that he's going to have to work on making a bigger future. Both teams have accounted for a turnover so far in this game. Stony Brook has had 2, Delaware only had 1, and of course, both of them with only 1 for both Stony Brook and Delaware. Their 1 turnover has accounted for that being completely lost. So we are just moments away from the start of the second half. Stony Brook got the ball to begin half number 1. Delaware will get the ball to begin half number 2. Delaware ranked 19th in the nation, was ranked 25th last week, but then after that huge win against Maine, they moved themselves up the rankings. Stony Brook last week lost at home in the first game of the season. It was against the 5th-ranked Villanova Wildcats, who are playing against Rhode Island today. And for Stony Brook, they looked really good last week as far as their defense was concerned, but what has been a killer for Stony Brook to allow more points so far today is that the defense, as we know, has created some problems with the penalties.
Yes, and not getting penalties is a big for Stony Brook in the second half because they have been able to stop Delaware a lot going on in this game. But because Delaware having good field possession off of penalties, they haven't been able to stop Delaware in the red zone when they had a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. So I look forward for Stony Brook to, have a good second half with no penalties and continue to play good defense and just play defense and don't argue with the refs to allow more penalties.
So the second half is about to go underway. Dejon Lee, the lead running back for Delaware, will be set to return the kick. Dejon Lee, in that first half, had 7 carries for 32 yards. He didn't get a touchdown, but Bryce DeMalle had a rushing touchdown himself. He's the tight end on the team for the Blue Hens. While for Stony Brook, they only had 1 field goal, and the leading rusher for Stony Brook in that first half was Tyquell Fields with 18 yards. No Jane Turner today left last week's game due to an injury. Guglielmo has to reset the kick now as it was falling. It's very windy in Newark today. Me, Jim Firstling, and Ken Furman went to Delaware the last time the Seawolves and the Blue Hens played against each other and resulted in a 17-10 win for Delaware. So once again, they'll have somebody boot it, have somebody on Stony Brook hold it while Guglielmo will kick it away. He approaches it, and the second half is now underway. The kick goes right near the end zone, across the 5-yard line. Dejon Lee with it, looking to carry it the other way, doesn't even make it to the 15-yard line, and he is tackled by Stony Brook, and that was number 40, Randy Pringle. So they'll be stopped at the 13-yard line, and that's where Delaware will begin the second half. So Stony Brook,
a nice tackle by Randy Pringle, making sure. Oh,
yes, keep going.
That was a good tackle by Randy Pringle, making sure that Delaware gets into bad field possession, allowed them to start at their own 13-yard line.
And that's what Stony Brook's going to have to do, especially with their defense. So the first down upcoming for Nolan Henderson. The snap, fakes it. He's going to look to run up the middle, finds an open hole, and he's going to make it for a first down more across the 25-yard line. And it looked like somebody on the Stony Brook defensive line had a chance, but may have been held. No flag was called, and Henderson's been showing off the wheels today. He is on the ground in the first half. He was showing off the flashes, had 3 carries for 5 yards, was able to account. It looks like they are going to call the penalty against Delaware, because I was right. Holding was called against one of the linemen for Delaware, and it looked like it was called against Patrick Shupp. Actually, it's number 52, Stephen Brown. Brown called for the 10-yard penalty. It'll be 1st and 20. Stony Brook, as I said, had trouble with penalties in the first half. Going to have to try and get Delaware to have the same type of trouble. So 1st and 20. Here's the snap. A quick pass over to his left. Catch is made by Pitts. Gets some of that yardage back as he gets across the 15-yard line right to the 18, cutting that first down distance in half.
Once again, nice job by Randy Pringle, allowing the defender to force the defender to bounce him outside, making sure that he doesn't got any space inside for a screen pass.
They called it a 10-yard gain on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 10. Dejon Lee in the backfield with Henderson. Here's the snap. Fakes a handoff. Henderson looking for somebody available. Throws over to his left for Pitts, and he is immediately tackled for a no gain by Augie Contressa, last year's leading tackler for Stony Brook. Forces a no gain on the play, 3rd and 10. They're actually going to call it a 5-yard gain on the play. Didn't look like he got much anywhere, but for anything, the immediate tackle made by Augie Contressa to stop him from getting a first down was big. He got it across the 15-yard line, so it is a few yards, and 3rd and 5 coming up. 4 receivers to spread out, 3 to the left, 1 to the right. Leading the backfield again with Henderson. Watch out for Henderson's run. Blitz showing. Here's the snap. Henderson going quick on the throw to his left, catch incomplete, meant for Gene Coleman. It'll be incomplete, and 4th down upcoming.
And that was just a nice inside blitz by Stony Brook, making sure that Nolan Henderson had no room to actually throw an accurate pass off that screen to the left side to his receiver.
Well, Stony Brook is really able to get that big defensive stop that they needed to begin the second half to keep themselves in this game. They were also down by 2 scores against Villanova last week. So in the punt, Seba Nekhet to return, and he'll call a fair catch right before the 40-yard line, and Stony Brook will get the ball right at the 37. So Stony Brook able to force a 3rd and out for Delaware to begin half number 2, and the Seawolves offense will begin their first possession offensively of the second half. So what we saw in that first half was Tyquell Fields having some problems trying to find his receivers, nearly had one of his passes picked off. It did look that way, but the refs decided that it did probably touch the ground, that the defender who caught it initially didn't actually, as you said, have complete control of the ball, so that led to an incomplete pass. Gave Stony Brook a bit of a handicap at that point, but it didn't really result in anything much after that. So what do you think they're going to have to do here in the second half of their offense to try and improve?
Like I said earlier in the pregame before halftime, they have to make sure that play possession and make sure it's easier for Tyquell to throw the football. Make sure the receivers get enough space from to allow him to get throws down the field and get first downs and just play possession against Delaware so far right now.
Well, we know that Stony Brook has always been
the tempo all offense.
Yeah, so Stony Brook, they know that they have always been reliant on the running game over the last few years. The running backs that they have had has really shown that to be true. Tyquell Fields, of course, he does show himself to be a mobile quarterback every now and then. Jaden Cook and Tyson Lawton in the backfield today are going to have to account for Jaden Turner not being there today because of the injury that he suffered to his lower left foot against Villanova last week. So Joshua Samote still in the backfield for Fields, who left before late in the first half due to an injury. Samote was getting some good strides in the last drive for Stony Brook right before the end of the first half, before the turnover on downs. So it'll be first down now for Stony Brook, right at the 37-yard line. Lawton in the backfield with 3 receivers. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. The handoff up the middle to Lawton. Gets across the 40-yard line right to the 43, and they'll rule a 5-yard gain on the play. So Tyson Lawton last year in his redshirt freshman season looked really strong when Isaiah White went down with an injury. Had one of his best games against Villanova last year when that resulted in a comeback win for this team. So 2nd and 5 is upcoming now for Stony Brook. Here's the snap. Zamo out in the pocket. Throws a deep ball down to the right. Across midfield. Goes out of bounds. Incomplete. Pass was meant for Malik Love. 3rd and 5 coming up. Joshua Samoa is trying to keep Joshua Samoa is just trying to keep himself away from pressure. Trying to run outside the pocket any way he can. Didn't really see any room to go make a run. But it's still a manageable 3rd down upcoming for the offense. That hasn't looked completely spot on yet in the first half. Trying to do something better in the second half. So 3rd and 5, here's the snap. Samoa getting pressured, gets away from it. He's going to run to his right, trying to get the first down. He does, and more across midfield, right to the Delaware 48-yard line. And Samoa keeps the drive alive for Stony Brook with another first down.
Great job by Josh Samoa. Improvising, seeing that he had nobody open, the pressure's coming to him, slipping off 2 tackles and running for the first down.
That was a really big run by Samot. He really nearly found himself under pressure and he was about to fall down, which would have ended the play. But staying on his feet, able to cross the chains just enough. So another first down as another handoff to Lawton, getting across the 45 right to the 43-yard line, sets up another 5-yard gain for Tyson.
And now you're starting to see Stony Brook play possession, run the football, and it's allowing them to have more ease on offense.
Stony Brook really needs to create a better rhythm offensively. They are not out of this game yet. A touchdown makes it a 1-score game. Jaden Cook now in the backfield with Zamot. The receivers are spread out, one to the left, two to the right. 2nd and 5, here's the snap. Samoa hands it off to Jay and Cook, initially met. He does get tackled, loses a yard in the play, backed up to the 45-yard line. And it looked like the pressure for Delaware with their D-line really was getting past Stony Brook's offensive line. With 3 of the 5 starters coming back from last year, 2 are new to this regime. We're seeing some new players for the offensive line trying to come back. We know that Justin Morgan is back, Kyle Nunez, along with Anthony Catapano. We see new ones like Cole Gambino in there. But Cam Lucas is also back too. So 3rd and 7 now. Expect another passing play from Zamo. Here's the snap. Blitz coming. Zamo running outside the pocket to his right. Throws over to Cook. He loses the possession of the ball. Trying to make the catch. Incomplete. That should have been a catch for a first down. Couldn't hold it cleanly. It'll be 4th and 7.
Oh, that would have been big. If the running back would have caught the football, that would have been a nice job for a first down. But it's just a nice job by Zamar realizing the pressure and improvising and throwing it to his running back. Too bad he couldn't catch the ball for the first down.
The drops have been a little bit of a disaster for Stony Brook offensively. So many dropped catches so far in the game. So across midfield, 4th and 7, Mitchell Wright will punt. Didn't play last week due to an injury. Mike Boyle did. The punt going right to the 10-yard line. It goes into the end zone for a touchback. Seawolves didn't see the ball that way, but Mitchell Wright did. Unfortunate for Stony Brook, they couldn't back Delaware deep in their own territory. So Delaware will get the ball back. With 10:43 left to go, they lead Stony Brook 17-3. And once again, it's another possession for Stony Brook offensively. They had some chances that just really couldn't get down the field long enough.
Yes, they had some chances, especially on that last 3rd down play where the Delaware Blue Hens brought in the pressure. Zamar realizes, runs out the pocket, and sees his running back open. And if the running back would have catched the football, he would have had 7 yards for a first down. And because there was nobody in the tackle open field in the opening area, so it would have been a first down by Stony Brook. But it was very unfortunate that he couldn't catch the football, and now it puts Stony Brook in another situation where they have to go on defense and try to stop Delaware from scoring.
And with not much offense for Stony Brook to do, it really has been putting a lot more pressure on Stony Brook defensively. Well, of course, that wasn't the case last week when Stony Brook didn't really have any offense, but the defense was able to keep them well in the game. So let's get up a little quick scores and updates here on the live stream. In the America East Men's Basketball Championship, Hartford Hawks bring down the UMass Lowell River Hawks 64-50. Hartford wins the America East Championship and goes to the NCAA tournament for the first time in school history. And this year in the America East in men's and women's basketball, first-time champions are named. For the men's, it's Hartford, and for the women's, thank goodness for us, the Stony Brook Seawolves, after the last few series by Caroline McCombs, has really stepped up this team. They will head to San Antonio next weekend. So out of the timeout, Delaware with possession of the ball at the 20-yard line after a touchback. Nolan Henderson once again with DeJean Lee in the backfield. First down upcoming. 2 receivers are out to the right. Here's the snap. Henderson looking to his right. He's going to throw over. Catch is made by Gene Coleman. Trying to bust through the defenders. Makes about a 9-yard gain. It's going to be 10 and enough for a first down. Gene Coleman's spreading out the separation. Stony Brook's defense has been able to stay one-on-one most recently against their opponents in their first few games of the season. So
and
quick
Stony
2nd
Brook
and 5.
has not been able to play very good.
Quick 2nd and 5. Catch over the middle. Caught by number 81, Bryce DeMail again. It's going to be a 5-yard gain on the play.
And now you're starting to see Stony Brook play a lot of man coverage. And if they want to play a lot of man coverage, they need to play underneath near the running back route. So make sure that they don't have easy.
4-yard gain on the play. 2nd and 6. Henderson with a handoff to Lee. Going off to his left. First down and more. Goes over across the 45. Down before midfield. Gets it right to the 47-yard line. And that was actually Corey Spruill with the long carry and the long gain on the play. So both teams have had a good running game. It's really been quite that day for Delaware offensively. And another quick snap and handoff up the middle for Spruill again. It's about 4 yards carry on the play for him once more up the middle. 2nd and 6.
Delaware is starting to do what they usually do best, which is run the football. Last week, they had 224 rushing yards against Maine, and now they look to bring in the running game against Stony Brook this second half.
Delaware seems to have been able to develop a better rhythm offensively, cashing in on penalties that Stony Brook has committed. 2nd and 6 at the 48. 3 receivers spread out, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Sproul in the backfield again. He gets the handoff and immediately met by the defense of Stony Brook. Tackle made by number 35, Tyler King, the freshman linebacker. And a no gain on the play sets up 3rd and long. That's just a good tackle by
Taylor. That's a nice job by Taylor King going through the B gap and tackling the running back for a loss.
Tyler King in his freshman season trying to make some good strides too. He looks like a good start defensively already. So 3rd and 7 at midfield. Here's the snap. Henderson looking to throw. Quick ball over the middle. Catches. Almost caught. Incomplete. And the pass was intended for Thyrick Pitts, which would have put Delaware in field goal range right near the red zone. But it goes down as a 4th and 7, and they'll have to punt.
Yes, and that was just a beautiful cover 2 defense by Stony Brook. They have 2 safeties over the top and the post route can stop a cover 2, but the safety comes up underneath and tries to pick off the football, but it was just a nice job by Stony Brook defensively.
And unfortunate for Thyrick Pitts because that ball was just a little too much towards his left. And on the punt, It takes a bit of a bounce. It goes just inside the 15, and it'll be down by Delaware at the 13-yard line. That guy didn't even try to call for a fair catch on that one. He just let it be. So Stony Brook forcing another punt in the second half. We'll go back on offense, and Zamote once again at the quarterback slot, looking to try and improve Stony Brook's offense. What they need to do here is that they need to find some better open room and have enough pass protection for Zamote to feel comfortable in or outside the pocket. So now we have 1st down upcoming for the Seawolves. Lawton in the backfield with Zamote. 3 receivers are spread out to the left. Here's the snap. Low snap. Zamote throwing quickly over to his right. Catch made by Lawton, initially tackled. And it looks like he won't get any yards on the play. Zamote had to try to get it out. And Lawton didn't really have any room to go up the field that much.
That is just a nice job by number 19 on the Delaware defense. Realizing that the quarterback is going to undercheck it to his running back and plays great defense.
Tackle made by Matt Palmer, the redshirt sophomore. 2nd and 9. Here's the snap. Zamote looking. Sees over the middle. Goes for the throw. Catch is made across the 15-yard line. It was caught by Sean Harris Jr., the redshirt freshman, who was able to preserve his redshirt last year after playing only a few games, and one of those few was a touchdown that he made against Villanova last year. So a 3-yard gain made on the play, 3rd and 6 coming up for the Stony Brook. We've seen some quick passes lately, and not too much of a running game as of now. So 3rd and 6, here's the snap. Zamote has some time, nearly gets tackled, and he loses yards on a sack. Brought down to the 10-yard line, and it was Matt Palmer who made that big tackle again. It'll be another punt upcoming for Stony Brook. Delaware defense is really giving Stony Brook offense their own nightmares. Even Villanova's defense was proving to be too much for Tyquell Fields last week.
Yes, you're seeing Delaware bring in the blitzes, especially on 3rd down, because Stony Brook hasn't been able to convert a lot of 3rd down. So you will see a nice blitz and allows Josh Zama to get sacked.
So Mitchell, right, getting a punt. Delaware it gets a good Stony Brook bounce, continues to go beyond the 40-yard line, and it will roll over right to the 30. So backed up from the 10-yard line, they went right to the 30. I guess you could say it's a 60-yard punt for Mitchell Wright. A nice little punt for Wright. Instead of it being right around midfield or in Stony Brook territory for Delaware, Mitchell Wright able to keep a little defensive hope alive for Stony Brook as being able to back up Delaware right halfway in their own territory. So with 6:04 left to go in the third quarter, Delaware keeps up their 17-3 lead with possession of the ball and a chance to extend upon it. Henderson at quarterback once again with John Lee in the backfield. The receivers are spread out. Snap upcoming. Here's the snap. Henderson looking to throw. Throwing quickly over the right. Catch is made by Pitts across the 40-yard line in Stony Brook territory. Tightly contested with Gregory Young, but still makes that catch. And Delaware find themselves immediately in Stony Brook territory across the 50, and they may go for a little bit of a hurry-up.
And that was just a nice contested catch by Pitts. Catching it over the defender and getting more yardage after the catch. Being a strong receiver. Making sure that he catches the ball and make sure he's tough over that catch.
Well, in college football, you really like seeing these plays that look pro-like. So in the first down, Henderson running off with it. He's going to be called out of bounds. He may have gotten about 5 yards running outside the pocket to his right. And so he'll split the first down distance in half. Actually, he only got 2 yards on the play. Saw that the offensive line was crumbling, and so he had to bust out of there. Nearly met from behind by Octavian, and his foot did hit, the right foot did go out of bounds after only 2 yards man the carry. So 2nd and 8 upcoming for Henderson and the Blue Hens. Series tied up at 2 between the Seawolves and the Blue Hens. Delaware won the last one last season in 2019 at the Delaware Stadium. The receivers are spread out. Here's the snap. Henderson looking to throw. Throws a deep ball down the middle, and the catch is incomplete. Collision between one of the Seawolves defenders and Dylan Zimmerman. Incomplete, 3rd and 9. A good throw by Henderson, but it doesn't result in anything.
I was just seeing Henderson trying to fit the ball between 2 defenders, and that was just a nice job by Stony Brook contesting that football and having a collision and allowing it to be 3rd and 9 with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter.
TJ Morrison with a hit on Zimmerman. Morrison trying to get accustomed to his new role in the safety slot. So a quick pass over to Gene Coleman. Makes a first down and more across the 25. He loses the football, but it's picked up by number 7. Running inside the 5. He goes into the end zone for a Delaware touchdown. Number 7, who was that?
Wow. Wow. That was just sloppy defense. Because why is number 7 allowed to get the football back and trying to score back for a touchdown? And that was just a missed tackle by number 23. He should have never. If he never would have missed that tackle, this would have never happened in the first place.
I'm trying to figure out who's number 7, unless it's number 1, which is Thyrick Pitts. Coleman losing the ball, but then Thyrick Pitts able to recover and advance it further for a touchdown. You don't see that in college football that often. I mean, I remember one time there was this NFL game where somebody on Carolina for the Panthers, and the extra point by Cole is good. So now Delaware is up 24-3 with 4:39 left to go in the third quarter. Stony Brook is really still feeling a lot of heat. Being able to jar the ball loose, but this time it was number 7. It wasn't Thyrick Pitts. It's just very unfortunate for Stony Brook. They couldn't find a way to cash in. So it looks like that may have actually been Daylon Terrian with the recovery on the play.
That was a nice recovery by number 7 on the Delaware defense. Seeing that the football was stripped from his teammate, picking up the football and scoring it for a touchdown, making a play after a play.
It's all about being alert at all times. Akil Laland was the one who made the tackle that did force the loss, that did force the fumble to be made. But he just couldn't recover or have anybody else near him. That's just how good Delaware has been offensively to start the first few games this season. Back in 2018, they were in the playoffs but lost in the first round. It was against Duquesne. So now in the kickoff from the 35-yard line for Delaware. On the return for Stony Brook, it'll be Neckhead getting across the 20-yard line. It's actually Harris, who gets just across the 25-yard line and is tackled at the 27. So Stony Brook will set up shop right there, looking to try and get their first touchdown of the game after they only got a field goal in the first half. Lawland was actually the one who lost Gene Coleman in the recovery in the fumble forced by number 43 on Stony Brook, Chris Campbell. Stony Brook is really having some trouble with the offense in the first 2 games of the season. Didn't get too much, had 2 touchdowns against Villanova last week, and hasn't gotten any touchdowns yet today. You don't know whether or not this could put Chuck Priori's job in jeopardy after being a head coach of the Seawolves for 15 years. So the first down at the 15-yard line. Here's the snap. Zamote fakes the handoff, throws over the middle, pass deflected, and it is incomplete. Kendrick Whitehead with the almost pick that will almost been looked at once more after Fields' throw in the first half was almost resulting in an interception, but after video review, they deemed that it was incomplete. Zamote was trying to get it to Newton in the tip by Delaware, number 29, Noah Plack. 2nd and 10. Zamote looking to throw it again. Throws over to his left. Catch made by Cook. Trying to advance the ball. Gets beyond the 15. Gets right to the 20-yard line where he goes out of bounds to Delaware's sideline. 3rd and 5.
Stony Brook playing a lot of quick passes down the stretch, under-checking it to their running back.
Stony Brook hasn't really found any wide-open players down the field. They have relied a lot more on the screen passes as a safety cushion. And even so, the Delaware defenders have immediately been able to catch up to that. So in 3rd and 5, here's the snap. Zamote over the middle. Catch made by DeVera, getting right to the 30-yard line, and it's a new set of downs for Stony Brook. Tyler DeVera, the redshirt freshman tight end transfer from Maryland, trying to make his move as the star tight end this season in his first 2 games of what looks like collegiate play. He didn't play with Maryland last season, so coming from a Power 5 school, Stony Brook able to get those types of players that can help the offense improve. First down to 30, 3 receivers to spread out.
Quick and fat.
Zamote looking to go outside the pocket, stays in. He's going to take a deep ball near the Stony Brook sideline, and it goes incomplete. There was a receiver in the vicinity, and it looked like it was Hunter Hayak that was the closest. Hayak is also a transfer from a Power 5 school, comes from Rutgers. Incomplete pass, Zamote just had to throw that one away to avoid being sacked. Second and 10 upcoming at the 30-yard line. Here's the snap. Zamote looking to throw. Throws over to his right. Pass deflected. And incomplete once again. Another chance for another interception from Delaware. And they have been passing. And they have been deflecting passes like nobody cares.
And that's a nice job by the defensive lineman on Delaware, putting his hands up whilst pass rushing, which is key because when you're defensive and you're taught when you're pass rushing against your tackle, always have your hands up. And that was a good job right there.
Nick Comer with deflection. So 3rd and 10. Here's the snap. Zamote looking, getting out of pressure. He's going to have to throw, and he does make the catch. And he gets it just right to the 36-yard line across the 35. It was a screen that was caught by Jaden Cook. So it will be 4 yards short of the first down. And with that, they're calling a holding penalty against Stony Brook, of course. And Delaware is accepting that penalty. I would have expected them to just decline it because that would have led to a 4th down and eventual forced punt by Stony Brook. Unless, of course, they would have had any ideas about going for it, and with no touchdowns produced yet today, you would have expected them to start going for it at this point. 2:53 left to go in the third quarter.
A small move.
2:53 left to go. Stony Brook trailing Delaware 24-3. 3rd and 20 now. They'll just hand it off to Cook, trying to get some yards on the play. He does make it across the 25-yard line. And that'll be a 5-yard gain to play, making it 4th and 15 rather than 4th and 5. And we have some pushing and shoving going on in the backfield. We've had flags thrown. Khalil Newton getting into it with one of the Blue Hens players. It looked like Newton may have been responsible for initiating it. It actually may have been Jane Cook. Stony Brook really having disasters with their discipline today. It's been a bit of a problem for them to be properly disciplined in this game. There's a lot of frustration for them on the offense and the defense because nothing really seems to be going their way so far.
It looks like it was initiated by a Delaware player, actually. Hitting number 32 from behind, trying to get up.
And yeah, I saw that there was a flag thrown right before Newton made the punch or something like that. So if anything, these fouls could be going offset that would lead to it still being 4th and 15. If Stony Brook had just let that be, then they would have gotten a new set of downs. But it's been the problem for Stony Brook that they haven't been able to take true advantage of anything that's been going their way. So they call it unsportsmanlike conduct against Delaware and one on Stony Brook. Because both of them happened after the 3rd down play, they offset, and it will still be 4th down. At the 2.5-minute mark.
Stony Brook still haven't been able to get anything offensively in the second half, having their 3rd straight 3-and-out, having to punt the football.
Well, we've only seen spurts of the offense getting some good plays down, but you need a lot more than that if you want to go down the field. Stony Brook hasn't really seen the end zone that often, and a spiraling punt by Mitchell Wright that is called for a fair catch at the 42-yard line by Townsend. And so Delaware will return to their offense with that possession. And we have a penalty, which is a holding against Delaware. So they'll be backed up right to their own 32-yard line instead. So Delaware will have the ball at their own 32, leading Stony Brook 24-3 with 2:17 left to go in the 3rd quarter. This game's been looking pretty long, and it has been pretty long for Stony Brook, as they have not gotten any touchdowns yet. The offense really having some trouble in this game. They haven't been able to find anything well. Tyquil Fields not playing for the rest of the game due to injury that he had in the first half. Joshua Simone having to step up. Did look good at first, but then things have started to relax for him. Get Carmen Fellis and Chris Bocci as the offensive coordinators for the Stony Brook Seawolves. Carmen Fellis at the quarterback and the offensive lineman for Chris Bocci.
Yes, you're seeing Stony Brook not being able to really do anything offensively against the blitz pressure by Delaware. Delaware realizing that they have a backup quarterback in the game and making sure that making it hard for Stony Brook to move the ball offensively.
Actually, there was a holding penalty against Delaware that was right before the punt. So it's a new set of downs for Stony Brook. And on that 1st down play, they handed it off to Cook for a 4-yard gain that puts them right at the 44-yard line of their own territory. What a sudden change. 2nd and 6 now, another handoff. And notice Mo going to try and run with it himself. Makes it right to the 45-yard line, lost his footing, and he gets about a yard in the play. 3rd and 5. So how?
He didn't slip. He would have had an extra 3 or 4 yards on that play.
Yeah, the fact that it's slippery and it's cold and windy, so Moat showing a little frustration with how he couldn't get himself down further. So 3rd and 5 upcoming. With how much Stony Brook is trailing in this game, you figure they may be going for it if they are close to a 1st down. 3rd and 5. Here's the snap. So Moat getting pressured. Has to run off with it. Not going to get anywhere, and he gets tackled for no gain on the play. Swallowed up immediately, but the Delaware defense, Johnny Buchanan with the tackle. 4th and 5 coming up, and now the punting unit will come back onto the field again. Stony Brook not able still to cash in on any opportunities they've had to go to lead the ball down the field. The offensive line doesn't seem to be protecting the quarterback that much, getting pressured too much by Delaware's defensive line. So the punt
And
upcoming
yes, you're
from Mitchell
seeing
Wright. He'll boot it
and you're
away.
seeing Delaware.
And a punt. Fair catch called at the 15-yard line. And so that is where Townsend will have Delaware begin their possession offensively.
And you're seeing Delaware doing a lot of quarterback contains, a lot on third down, because they know that Josh Amott can actually take off with the football. So containing his outside pressure and getting a little bit inside pressure by the D lineman and forcing Amott to not move the ball offensively, especially on third down, because Stony Brook haven't been able to convert on third down a lot, especially in the first 2 games of this season.
Stony Brook, you see they've had a lot of passing opportunities, but the defensive line does not create any time. So first down with 3 receivers spread out, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. The handoff, no, Henderson will keep it, trying to run over to his left, gets away from McKay Smith, gets a sizable gain right near the 30-yard line, brought down at the 29 for a new set of downs. Stony Brook tries to do the same thing.
By Henderson. It's
Stony
just
Brook,
a nice job by Henderson, realizing that the pressure is coming from the right side and taking it all to his left side, realizing that there's less defenders on the left side to take off, no quarterback contained, and gets it for a first down.
Stony Brook tries to do the same thing with their quarterbacks, but they don't find any room. Delaware a lot more disciplined than Stony Brook appears to be, until they'll bring it down to the end of the third quarter, and Delaware up 24-3, doing everything right, while Stony Brook is still having some serious trouble with what they do with their offense and their defense. So things haven't really been looking better for Stony Brook coming out of that halftime. There's been no answers for Stony Brook when trying to get back at their opponents in any way.
Yes, Stony Brook has been really struggling offensively, and it's crazy because Delaware had opportunities early in the third quarter, and Stony Brook had a lot of stops, and Stony Brook couldn't capitalize off their stops on the defensive side. And Stony Brook offense again looking abysmal, and Delaware playing very great defense, especially on third down, bringing a lot of pressure, forcing outside pressure, so make sure that the Zamot don't be able to run the football, and making sure that he's able to throw the football inside the pocket instead of outside the pocket.
Yeah, this is probably also causing a little bit of trouble for Chuck Priore in his 15th season with the team. He's been there for a very long time, has helped them to their 4 playoff appearances, but after the hard season that the team had last year, as well as the hard start to their season with the first 2 games not with offense looking pretty stagnant, his future with the team could start to look like it's in jeopardy. The way that Chuck Priore has played the game over the last few seasons has started to look questionable, especially when you have a chance to run the ball down the field with a few minutes to go, but instead he decides to go conservative, run the clock out to the end of the first half, which really puts his coaching methods into question. He's looking to try and save his job.
And yes, you're seeing Stony Brook offense being abysmal, and Chuck Priore struggling with the coaching and struggling with his play calls, and especially on the offensive coordinator side too, because the offense can't be moving with only the coach calling the play calls. The offensive coordinators have to help with the play calls, and with that happening, it seems to not been a great it seems like the offensive coordinator and the coach are not seeming to click.
So to start the fourth quarter, the handoff up the middle to Dejon Lee makes about a few yards on the play, and we have a Stony Brook player down. It was a good stop by Stony Brook with the run game. It was a 4-yard gain made on the play. Stony Brook player down. It appears to be Dakar Edwards, who made one of the sacks in this game so far. And also injuries being a pretty problematic too. Just 17 seconds to start off the fourth quarter. So it looks like Takar Edwards is able to come off the field. Actually, Chris Campbell, who was down, but he's able to walk off the field on his own power. So it's an injury timeout. Stony Brook with their defense, they can only do so much, but when the offense doesn't produce enough to help them relieve a little pressure, this could create some problems with Stony Brook's defense getting a lot more pressure to try and have to keep the game close, and that has really allowed them to give up those 3 touchdowns and a field goal in this game. Next week, they play a Maine team that was shut out by Delaware last week at the same place at Delaware Stadium. Dejan Lee started off the season with a season-opening kickoff return for a touchdown. It's all part of a huge game that Delaware got through, and it looks like they are a team that could be representing one of the teams to represent the CAA in the playoffs this season. Well, for Stony Brook, this may be another season where they're unable to return to the playoffs after they were unable to do so in 2019. Looked like they had a chance at first with a good non-conference start, winning all but one of their games. Well, in conference play, it was hard at first too. The loss to James Madison wasn't bad, but the losses to New Hampshire, Richmond, and Delaware were pretty much brutal for Stony Brook. Their only 2 wins were against Rhode Island and Villanova. Those were really close games. So at the injury timeout, 2nd and 6 at the 32 for the Blue Hens. Henderson in the backfield with Lee. The receivers are spread out, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Stony Brook looking to try and get an answer and put more pressure on Henderson. Here's the snap. Henderson with a quick throw over to his right and tackled immediately by number 6 and dragged down eventually. Refs will call him down at the 35-yard line. 3 yards made on the play. That was Gene Coleman with the reception. And that's the type of play that Stony Brook really needs to account for big. So it'll be a 3rd down upcoming for Delaware. Tackle was made by Randy Pringle. So it'll be a short, be a manageable 3rd down situation. Third and 3 upcoming. Henderson has his players set. 4 receivers spread out. 3 to the left, 1 to the right. Lee in the backfield. Here's the snap. The handoff quickly out to Sproil. Gets immediately met and only gets 1 yard on the play. Tackle made by Pringle once again. In a handoff inside, it was number 7 who that may have been the same play. That was the same player who got the recovery for a touchdown for Delaware, and was Dalen Darien, if I'm not mistaken. So, Stony Brook will force the punt. Saban Neckhead to return. Punter will be Tyler Pastula. He'll punt it away. Gets a good kick. Neckhead looking to return. Trying to spread it up the middle. Gets across the 30-yard line. And we have a flag called. And this may be against Stony Brook. One of the Delaware players calling for it may have been hit.
And these flags are starting to cost Stony Brook the football game.
I'm not sure what Chuck Priore is trying to tell his team to do, but it is really problematic when it comes down to that. Either way, it is a 1st down. They're going to call a penalty from the spot of the foul. May have been half the distance to the goal. They were really pumped up on the sideline, sensing a win in sight with a 21-point lead in their favor. It was a legal block in the back by one of the Stony Brook specialists. So 1st down, and quickly up the middle, Tyson Lawton goes. A few yards made on the play, 3 to be exact. Tackle. Delaware, Nick Comer with it again. 3 yards on the play, 2nd and 7. Joshua Samo still at the quarterback slot with Fields out for the rest of the game. Again in the backfield with Sise. Two receivers to spread out. Here's the snap. Fakes the handoff. Sise looking. Has some time running outside the pocket to his left. He's going to have to throw over the right. Catch is made at the 25-yard line by Isaiah Givens. Out of bounds at the Delaware sideline. Racks up 2 yards. And it's 3rd and 5 coming up. So Sise able to read the play, found himself getting himself away from the pressure and having to throw the ball away, able to find the receiver open. So 3rd and 5, 3 receivers spread out to the left. Here's the snap. Sise throwing over to his left. Catch made by Devera across the 30-yard line. Ball is loose. And was he brought down beforehand? Refs say no, that it is going to be another fumble recovered by Delaware. And Dalen Darien with the recovery on the play.
And Stony Brook, once again, cannot hold on to the football. Tyler Devera catching this football for like 5 yards and fumbles it, and now puts Delaware into good field possession to score a touchdown and have an opportunity to make sure this game is not even close against Stony Brook.
Frustration continues to mount for Stony Brook. This is not the type of game that they have imagined in any way. They would have hoped for it to be a lot closer, but the offense still not looking very sharp to start the season. No answers against any of their opponents, no matter who they are. Stony Brook has had ability to strike back, but they have not been able to find anything at all to respond back with. So 1st down for Delaware at the Stony Brook 38-yard line. Henderson faking it, getting away from the pressure, running outside to his pocket. Flag called in the backfield as Henderson throws it away. Looks like we got ourselves a holding penalty called against the Blue Hens. Refs talking it over. Waiting to see what the call is. And it looks like they're going to take the flag back. No penalty called, no holding. So it'll be 2nd down. 2nd down 10. Even it looks like Stony Brook has the chance to force Delaware to make a mistake. It bites back at them. After this, Stony Brook returns home to play against the Maine Black Bears next week at Kent Pilival Stadium. It's all part of a doubleheader on WSB. 2nd and 10. Here's the snap. Henderson loses the possession of the ball, and does he pick it back up? Waiting for the refs to blow a whistle, and there's a fumble recovered by Stony Brook. Brandon Lopez with the recovery, a botch snap by Henderson, and Stony Brook able to force a fumble and make a recovery of their own after Delaware did to them.
Bad snap by Delaware. Great job by Stony Brook picking up the bad snap and having a fumble recovery and now having a chance to put themselves in this game by trying to score on offense.
Never expected something like that would happen that often, but for Stony Brook, luckily enough, but can their offense respond? So here's the snap. Sise looking to throw. Has plenty of time. Going to throw over to his left. Pass picked in the air and intercepted. And it's picked off by Darien. It's another turnover by Stony Brook. And we have a penalty called on the play as well. And Stony Brook just cannot get their way with the offense in anything. The problems just continue to mount for them no matter how many times they try to find a way to just get past gingerly. They can't even have the ability to do that.
And the pass was overthrown, and it was tipped up in the air for Delaware to catch the interception. And it's been like this all game. Stony Brook not been able to capitalize off of Delaware's mistakes, and Delaware getting these turnovers and allowing them to continue being in good field possession against Stony Brook.
Well, we're not going to be able to tell for ourselves how Chuck Priore is going to improve this team because to end the season last year, it was just pretty hard for them. So the 1st down, handoff up the middle to Sproul, getting it right across the 30, inside the 25-yard line. Do we have another loose ball? No, they're going to say that Sproul was down by contact before the ball came loose. So Delaware able to avoid a turnover, and they get the ball right in field goal range inside the 30-yard line. So Henderson and the offense looking to go up quickly before there's a chance that the play can be reviewed. Three receivers spread out to the left, one to the right. Henderson with the throw over to his left, catch made by Delaware. Gene Coleman on the reception at the 21-yard line. We approach under 11 minutes with Delaware up 24-3 in position to extend their lead. It's just been really tough for Stony Brook with all the defense that they tried to put up. Tackle was made by Randy Pringle against Coleman. Stony Brook can't find a way to be just as strong as any other team that's in their conference. Looking the same as they did in their first year of conference play in 2013. And the throw over the middle by Henderson. And the catch, it's called for a touchdown, but it looked to me like he lost possession of the ball when he was trying to make possession of it. I'm not sure if this is a completed catch. And the receiver who made the catch is slow to get up.
That's a good throw by Henderson. That is just a good throw by Henderson and the receiver beating out the secondary to be wide open for the touchdown. And it looks like it will be still standing for a touchdown. Number one beats out number 4.
According to the replay,
it looks like he had possession on that play.
Well, look to me
it
like
definitely looked like he has possession.
Well, it seemed that way, but it did look like he lost possession of the ball as he was going right before he went out of bounds. The catch was made by Thyrick Pitts, but they're going to say that it's the call on the field stands. Not even taking a look at whether or not this is a catch is really questionable. And calling the extra point, it's up and it's good. 31-3 Delaware.
I believe that was the right call by the refs because Delaware receiver had 1 foot inside the touchdown and had possession for the touchdown to gain possession. To have a touchdown rule.
You have to hold on to it if it looks like you're going to go down to the ground. And when he did, he lost possession of the ball. As the fact is, I am really understanding the fact that this could have gone either way, but the ref's not even taking a chance at looking at whether or not reviewing this is also really going to draw up a lot of questions on their end, probably. So with just about 10 minutes left to go before the end of the fourth quarter and probably the end of this game, Delaware cashing in on an interception thrown by Joshua Zamote and extend their lead to 31-3. Stony Brook, no answers at all. It's going to be really hard to see how they're going to be trying to get themselves back into the groove that they want to be. No answers on defense, no answers on offense. The offense have looked pretty stagnant with no receivers looking like they have a chance to give their quarterback a chance to throw the ball to them. In the running game, seems to me like the big problem is that the offensive line is not giving the quarterback enough pass protection, and the receivers just haven't been able to separate themselves from the defenders downfield.
If you look back at that, caught the catch for about 3 seconds, and he had 2 of his feet in bounds. So I believe that was the right call by the refs, ruling it a touchdown against Stony Brook.
Well, it looked like he was also going down to the ground, and when you go down to the ground, you have to hold on to possession of the ball, complete the process of the catch. But it's like I said, this is that call could have gone either way.
Oh. Yes.
So Ryan Coe will be once again kicking off to Stony Brook, who's still trying to capture a touchdown in this game. They had at least one in every one of their games last season. So there's going to be a little bit of a squib kick by Delaware, and it's picked up by Del Negro, who tries to advance the ball across the 30-yard line. A little pushing and shoving, but they reconcile after that. So across the 30-yard line to the 37-yard line is where Stony Brook will have the ball. Joshua Samoa in the backfield once again. No third-string quarterback for Stony Brook to try something new. It looks like this is what they're going to have to stick with throughout the rest of this game. So first down upcoming at the 37. 3 receivers are spread out. Here's the snap. Handoff up the middle. going right to the 40-yard line, and it's about a 3-yard gain on the play. Looking to check and see who was responsible for that run. It's number 28. We don't have a clear depth chart on him. He does wear the number that Isaiah White was wearing last year. So 2nd and 7 now. Here's the snap. Samoa looking to throw over the middle across the 45-yard line. Catch is made for first down. And it was made by Isaiah Givens. So Isaiah Givens, who had a touchdown last year against Fordham, probably one of his only touchdowns of the season, is able to extend the drive. It looks like they're actually going to be called a yard short. These are plays that Stony Brook has not really seen that much of throughout the entire game. Tackle immediately made by Raya Burton. So 3rd and 1, handoff up the middle to Cook, trying to bust enough for a first down, and he will. It's actually a few yards gained on the play. It was a first down called at first. So in the 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8. 8:58 left to go in the game. Delaware leading 31-3. Stony Brook just wants to get at least a touchdown so they can try and get the first touchdown be the first team to get a touchdown against Delaware this season. They're already the first team to get a score against them. Samoa looking to throw over the middle. Catch is made by Malik Love for first down and more. Gets right to the 35-yard line. And it's another set of downs for the Seawolves. Malik Love, the graduate transfer from New Hampshire, a team that has always looked great in the CAA, having that consecutive streak of playoffs appearances dating back to the beginning of this century up until 2018 when they had one of their worst seasons in a long time. Malik Love, a star receiver for them last year, able to get Stony Brook right near field goal range. First down to 35 of Delaware. Fakes the handoffs. DeMont looking to throw. Going to throw a deep ball over the middle. And catches intercepted. Picked off at the last second by Delaware. And the recovery on the play made by number 41. So once again, Stony Brook with a chance to make some promising plays. It's just stalled again. Delaware defense is a nightmare.
And Zamont throwing an interception.
Zamont and Field having their problems.
This whole
Yes, Zamont and Fields, they've been having problems the last few seasons with trying to make accurate throws. And there hasn't been anybody for Stony Brook that's been able to do that in the last few seasons. So on the first down play, the handoff over to the right, the catch was made by Dylan Zimmerman for a 3-yard gain. Tackle made by Morrison. 4 yards, actually. 2nd and 6. Stony Brook coming out of this game with no touchdowns is really going to question Chuck Priori's motives in any way. 2nd and 6. The handoff off the middle to Lee. Nowhere to go. Met immediately by TJ Morrison for no gain on the play. 3rd and 6 upcoming. There have been moments for Stony Brook today.
Delaware, and if you're just Delaware, continue to just run the football and waste the clock and win this game.
Stony Brook, it looks like the offense may be going without any touchdowns today after they had 2 against Villanova last week. So right before the 3rd and 5, a timeout called with 6:53 left to go in the game. So let's see what's going on with scores and updates around college and the pros for the time being. We got a feisty game in the SEC and the Big Ten. With 10:50 to go in the second half, 6th-ranked Alabama, the top seed in the SEC tournament, trails Tennessee 53-49. With 10:34 left to go in the second half, top seed Michigan in the Big Ten tournament without Isaiah Livers trails the 5th seed actually, Ohio State Buckeyes 45-43. So they come out of the timeout with 6:53 to go and a 3rd and 5 coming up for the Blue Hens. Meanwhile, with 4.5 to go in the third quarter, Maine is up against UAlbany 24-20. So here's the snap. Henderson moving inside the pocket to his right. Look for somebody available. Can't find anybody. Has plenty of time. He's going to take a throw down the field and no receiver in sight. The closest player was a Seawolves defender. Backed up, incomplete, 4th and 5.
That should have been an intentional grounding because there was no Delaware receiver in that area of the ball throwing.
Well, if you're outside the pocket and you throw the ball beyond the line of scrimmage, then that is not an intentional penalty. Not an intentional grounding. So that is allowed by Delaware. So the punt upcoming now by Pastula. Saban Netcap will let that be. Is advanced. Stays in Delaware territory. Joe Subaliga able to down it at the Delaware 47-yard line. So Stony Brook, with their best starting field position of the day, has another chance to get a touchdown for the first time in this contest. Joshua Samote once again at quarterback in the backfield with Jaden Cook. Delonte Helens was on the field, but then he gets called off by Peoria. So first down upcoming at the 46-yard line. 4 receivers to spread out. 3 to the left, 1 to the right. Cook in the backfield with Samote. Here's the snap. Samote fakes it. No, he'll give it off to Cook. Trying to shake off tackles. Trying to run over to the left. He's got some room. He's going to get across the 40. First down and more. He gets out of bounds to Stony Brook sideline to the 35. Tackle made by number 77 of Delaware. And that was... trying to see who it was for Delaware. But Stony Brook able to get the ball right in your field goal range. And we'll see if they have a chance to get a score off of it this time. That's one of the things that Stony Brook was trying to look for all game long. So another first down upcoming. Samote giving it off to Cook inside. Gets across the 30-yard line. And is brought down at the 29. Tackle was made by Daniel Walker. And it'll be a 6-yard gain on the play by number 32. So it looks like the Seawolves offense is going to rush it a little more. Here's the snap. Samote will hand it off again. And trying to advance forward, the running back cannot. He gets about a yard or two on the play. It looked like the tackle was made by Isaiah Schoonmaker. And so we got a 3rd and 3 coming up. A manageable first down play upcoming for Stony Brook if they can get it. You can imagine with Stony Brook being down this much, they'll start to go for it with nothing left to lose. So 3rd and 3, here's the snap. Samote looking, he'll has a hole up the middle, he'll get the first down or more, brought down to 25-yard line, and he'll be able to get Joshua will take that extra set of downs. With less than 5 minutes to go, Stony Brook trying to tread their way down the field. They're at the Delaware 25-yard line with less than 5 minutes to go. Tackle was made by Tamar Teagle. He's able to make a clean hit. So another first down play, another handoff up the middle to Cook. Prancing it forward to the left, makes about a 2-yard gain on the play right to the 22-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 8. Roland Dempster wears number 28 for Stony Brook. He is the 3rd-string running back behind Tyson Lawton, Jane Cook, and Jaden Turner. Stony Brook hasn't had a game yet this season where all of their best players are healthy. 2nd and 8. Samote, a low snap, picks it up, looking to run or look to throw. Running outside the pocket to his right. He makes a catch right to the 15-yard line and is caught by Malik Love. And it looks like...
It seems like Zamont is really good throwing.
It will be a yard short of the first down. Joshua Samote. Looking to see what year he is in. And according to the stats, he is a redshirt sophomore. So here's the snap on 3rd and 1. The handoff up to Roland Dempster. Trying to get the ball. The ball is loose. It's picked up by Delaware. It is being brought from behind. Number 54 with the recovery and brought down by Samote. And again, turnovers. Problematic.
And once again, every time Stony Brook have good field possession, found a way to turn over the football to Delaware, and now Delaware gets the football with 3 minutes and 23 seconds to go left in this game.
Well, this has really been such a major catastrophe for Stony Brook offensively. So like I keep saying, every chance that they have to go down the field, it gets blown up right in front of them. The recovery on the play was just too easy for Chase McGowan to make. And so Moat being able to stop it from being a scoop and score. Roland Dempster is not used to being a running back. He's only used to being part of that defensive play. So first down as the handoff up to the right. It'll go for number 4, trying to make a bit of a tackle. Gets across the 45 shoestring. And Zach Gwynn with the handoff to Corey Spruill. Gets about 6 yards on the play for 2nd and 4. Second and 3 with 3 minutes left to go. This game is almost over. It could be the end of a nightmare for Stony Brook. Of course, it looks like they'll be falling to 0-2. Stony Brook has a lot of weapons on this team, but it doesn't seem like they've found the right rhythm to be able to utilize them perfectly. They'll look to try and get their first win of the season when they host Maine next week. 2nd and 3, the handoff up the middle, and the immediate tackle made by the Seawolves. And that was Nick Chimienti with the tackle. And it'll be about 2 yards made on the play, 3rd and 2 upcoming at the Delaware's own 49-yard line as we approach the 2-minute mark. Delaware about to move to 2-0, has a good chance to be a great playmaker, great team that could make a good push for the playoffs this season. Looks like they have a lot of great looks upcoming for them. Next week, they will head to New Hampshire in what could be a really good game to watch if you're a fan of the CAA, one of the best conferences in FCS football. 3rd and 2, the handoff now up the middle again. It's actually going to be Zach Wynn with a catch, and he's not going to get anywhere. In fact, he's going to get backed up a yard as he runs to the right near the Stony Brook sideline. We have 4th and 2. Zach Wynn, the backup quarterback coming after Nolan Henderson, finishes the day being able to give Delaware the type of win that they're about to get with 1:25 left to go.
Yeah, with the clock running Delaware down. Once again, and it looks like Delaware once again going to have a victory, scoring 30-plus points for the 2nd straight week in a row. They want to get off this bad start that they had to the season. They need to get the ball moving offensively.
And on the punt, it was blocked, and it was picked up by Stony Brook by number 29 on the team. Justin Reese will have Stony Brook start the ball at their own 44-yard line. A blocked punt against Villanova last week that led to a touchdown, and Stony Brook able to block it with a sizable field position with 1:01 left to go in the game. But who knows if they'll even try to go for it at all. Of course, you want to try anything you can because you know you're about to lose. Want to get at least something to cap off this game. First down, here's the snap. Moat with the handoff up the middle. He sees Jaden Cook, and he'll run right near the logo, and that will be about 3 yards carry on the play. And it looks like Stony Brook may just well run this clock down to the end of the game. Once again, Stony Brook had one of their best players out today. Jaden Turner, who looked really good last week against Villanova, could not play with a foot injury. 2nd and 7 up the middle. Jaden Cook once again, and he gets about a yard or two. It looks like that might be the last play. Right at the Delaware logo, right near a few yards away from midfield.
Looks like Delaware will capitalize on this victory.
10 seconds left to go. It looks like that's going to do it as this game comes to an end. Delaware plays Delaware once again in their 2nd home game of the season, brings down Stony Brook, and has yet to allow a touchdown to any of their opponents this season. They down the Seawolves 31-3, move to 2-0. Stony Brook falls to 0-2. Another fantastic game by Delaware, being able to take advantage of Stony Brook's offense looking stagnant and using the offense of their own The player of the game for Delaware is Dalen Darien, getting a tackle, an interception, and a forced fumble on the play. He had a great, strong game defensively, and he could be one of the best playmakers throughout the rest of the season that could bring Delaware into the playoffs in a adjusted 16-team playoff field. So it looks like that will do it for us here. Thank you for listening in to the second half of the Stony Brook Delaware football game with the Blue Hens claiming victory against Stony Brook 31-3. They go on the road for their first road game of the season at New Hampshire next week. Stony Brook returns home to play at noon next